Bruce is going to be talking about building momentum when scaling in EMEA as the first individual on the ground. Now, interestingly, this is an individual that I've had often when I'm designing these events, I'm asking referrals in the background on a weekly basis. And Bruce is one of those leaders that reputationally comes up time and time again. I mean, he's got 25 years experience building fast growth companies, and mainly US HQ businesses that are landing in EMEA. And his first position was at PTC, which definitely had some of the original kind of originators around medic best practices and processes, and a lot of those leaders have gone on to build amazing businesses in Europe and the rest of the world. So he's led teams at various different companies at exec and board level, and during his time at PTC, the 6 years he spent there, he had a period of 36 consecutive quarters of double growth. And right now he's leading UserTesting that have recently passed the $100 million mark and looking over the next 3 years to get to $250 million globally. So Bruce, it's a pleasure to have you on board. I'll leave you to wrap things up for us. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thanks, James. So great. Thanks very much for the invite, and all the great speakers that were there before me. So thanks very much. So as James said, I'm Bruce. I look after the EMEA business here for UserTesting. So James introduced UserTesting briefly. In terms of a company and what we do is we really help organizations with a digital engagement with their customers to get a better understanding of how they feel and maybe some of the issues or opportunities that exist with dealing with them. Some of the brands that we deal with locally, anything from Trainline.com, British Telecom, Skyscanner, Burberry, more globally, Adidas, Nike, Fidelity, Capital One, Facebook, eBay, and we deal with Amazon in 21 different divisions. So quite a wide array of big digital businesses. And up until April last year, this business had nobody in Europe. So I came and joined as the setup in Europe. And during the last sort of 18, 20 months, we've managed to scale up fairly quickly. We'll exit the year at something like 13 to 14 million of ARR for the company's overall 100. We've acquired about 250 new customers. And next year, we'll double the revenue from 13, 14, double it up, and 100 people that we've now got, and double that up again to 200 people. So we're getting really rapid traction in the business. And I guess what James and I talked about was maybe talk about my approach and my philosophy, to doing this with teams. And I think all the great points that, product market fit and some of the execution and planning are absolutely bang on. But I'm going to take this from a people point of view, because I think when you sit there and you're starting out in Europe and you're trying to get it going, then I think you're in a fairly lonely place, and it feels like you're maybe on the bottom league of a 4-tier system. You've got no players and you've got some money to invest, and you've somehow got to get outcomes and you've got to get things going. So clearly the plan underpins that. And I always start with a vision. So I start with a vision that I want to become a mission. And what I mean by that is really something that can articulate to everybody that you meet about what's going to happen. And the slides I've still got all the way from day one. The one slide always says we're going to build a $30 million business, and we're going to do this by 2022. So Europe will become from very little to $30 million in just over 2.5 years. And the reason that I do that is because everybody that you start to meet, in the WeWork cube with the 2 cups of coffee, and they see that that's the whole EMEA business right there, it starts to give them the possibilities of where this could go. So you start to find out what you might do. What happens when we get to 5 and 10, and how many people might there be at that point? What are the opportunities with the accounts you could work with? So you start focusing them on the positives, but not the real grunt work that's going to be in front of you. And then in sort of articulating that possibility as the vision, I start to look for the right people. So I'm going to slightly maybe disagree here with Mike, I think, but I look for certain types of people. So I've got 4 measuring sticks. The first one of those is character. I'm going to look for people that are tough, resilient, driven, ambitious, that underlying quality that wants something, to happen, to prove a point, to leave a legacy. And then the second thing is looking for intelligence. we're going to come up with stuff that we've just got to figure out and get round. Smart people, people with street smarts, intelligent, emotionally intelligent people, they'll figure those things out. And then the third thing is coachability. We're going to do something different. We're going to be different from what we were in the past. So we need to learn fast. So we need to find people that can learn fast. And the fourth point I actually put is lower compared to Mike is track record. And in track record, I'm not interested in what somebody's sold in an adjacent market, because I'm not going to do the same thing, or we're not going to do the same thing. What I'm interested in is what's brought them to this place today. Where are they at in their career? And with the original 6 that we hired to do that, to try and harness, this vision into a mission, those people were all at similar stages in their life and could get along. And what I mean by that as an example is, since they joined, those 6, 4 or 5 of them have bought their first house. So they're at a certain stage in their career. And that allowed us to go into the second part, which is really to get them to gel. So the next thing I did was really put those guys all on a plane, all of us together, 6, and we headed for the States, where the main part of the company was. We spent a couple of weeks going through Atlanta, where the company hub was, and in San Francisco, getting loads of education, loads of network. We got loads of people that can really help me transfer knowledge quickly by getting to know those guys. So that really helped from an enablement point of view. But the second thing was we spent 2 weeks eating, drinking, flying, staying in the same hotel, exercising together, really getting to know each other, and getting to know each other from the point of view of knowing each other's backgrounds, the teams you support, brothers and sisters, cats, dogs, families, all those kind of things. They really became close in that 2 weeks. It really served that purpose. And we also went for a sort of leveler type experience, which I call, we went to a karaoke bar one night, and there was a few, good nights, as you would imagine. And that's where everybody sang, individually and collectively. And it kind of created this environment where everybody can learn. It's okay to put something out there, make a mistake, and learn. So the next thing is then trying to get people who are gelling together. How do you get them to feel part of the mission? And we started to get those folks to try and involve them in building the rest of the organization as we start getting momentum. And as we get to Christmas, we're at about 25 people. And by that time, we start handing out personalized gifts. So UserTesting swag. And we put their employee number on the side, on the arm. And we gave them a laptop case with the date they joined and their initials. And what that meant is they went to the shops or to walk the dog or into their customers, they got asked about those things, and they started to talk with pride about, we're one of the founding members, one of the startup people in this group, and it really made them feel emotionally part of it. So now we've got the mission, I would say, we've got people embedded in the mission, and we're starting to get lots of traction, and things are moving. They're really good, they're really willing to go through all the hard stuff because they feel together. So the next part was really culture, methodology, and mindset. And I think the culture was focusing on a few things: collaboration, working together. We made that a really important part of what we did. Diversity was really important. And also to get better, willing to learn, really making mistakes, move fast, keep trying to go fast, make a mistake, doesn't matter. So we created those things. And we also, lastly, made sure everybody felt a metric around opportunity. So we stated that 25% of everybody in the company would get promoted. So it made them feel like there was opportunities going to come with growth. The next part James alluded to was MEDDIC. The methodology, to me, the sat-nav, the best compass for fast growth is MEDDIC. I learned at PTC, I've used it all the way throughout my career. Many other companies from PTC have used that. Snowflake, Sprinkler, Okta, MongoDB, they all use this sat-nav, and they start to develop fast growth businesses. And that really enables people to take that away with them when they move on to the next adventure, a MEDDIC capability. The last thing I would say is mindset. So with mindset, I think when you're in a fast growth business like we are, then you're going to be going through a set of stairs that feels like it never stops climbing. And that can be really tiring. And I think one of the things folk miss is maybe thinking about the mindset, thinking about how you prepare people for that. And so when I use an analogy here, which is going back a little while, but Roger Bannister was the first man to ever break 4 minutes is a mile. And 46 days after he did it, somebody broke it again. But they said no human could do it. And I think if you prepare mindsets to do that, then you can really approach something in a much healthier, productive way. And today that 4-minute mile stands at 3 minutes 43, and a 16-year-old boy or girl has been able to run under 4 minutes for a mile. So we use a guy called Martin Tucker, who is a friend of Sales Confidence. He's got a business called Generate, and he brings together methodology and growth mindset to make compelling, powerful go-to-market teams. Now, these things all need to be pointed towards, a plan and a structure. But I think when you build a vision to form a mission, you put the people in it, you make them feel part of that mission, and then you give them the tools and the method to go about it. That's where you get the fundamentals from the people to build a compelling, fast growth business. It's really worked for us. We've grown fairly fast and we're continuing to do so. Already this quarter, we are adding about another 40 logos on top of the ones we've already won. And we continue to win all sizes of business. So really working for us. So again, that was just some of my thoughts, shares, setting up a business, and how we've went about it from a people point of view.